What's up? Hold on a second. Let me turn this down. What's up, guys? Mika here, the Traveling Tarot, back again with our Monday night Zoom. We did have some people that did RSVP, so feel free to show up, jump in. If not, we're going to go ahead and just pick up where we left off. Thank you again for watching the video. Even if you find this after the fact, these are every single Monday at 7 on Zoom. The links will always be in the description. And I like Zoom for this because the point of this is to have interaction, female physical interaction with people discussing their experience or their understanding or their desire to learn more about or see how tarot can, they can use tarot to help in their everyday lives, or at least to feel a little bit closer to their intuition, or to see how they can go ahead and build a better relationship with their intuition. So I'm going to just start with, of course, going over the cards that we've already discussed. I'm just going to give you a brief overview. We were in the major arcana, and still feel free to comment on your impression of tarot and why. I'm still very, very interested in getting this conversation started, and hopefully clarifying or help bring a different light to your understanding of tarot. And like I said in the previous video, a lot of the times when you say the word tarot, a person's beliefs comes up in such a way that they don't hear the other things you're saying, like self-love and empowerment and positive energy and anything is possible. So I would like to start maybe dismantling some of those theories or some understandings, and not even trying to challenge you in any way, but just to help you get another perspective. Because one of the things I found on my own spiritual journey is you want to be open to the how. Okay, the destination is going to be the destination. It's going to be what you've asked for. And in the words of the late great Bob Proctor, what must happen will happen to get you there. So be open to the different twists and turns, and maybe even the different ways of getting there and understanding. So if you are finding this video after the fact, I'm having myself a cup of tea. Feel free to grab yourself some water or some tea, glass of wine, whatever it is you're into. Settle in and let's learn some tarot, okay? So I'm going to start with, again, the major arcana, and I'm just going to go over the 5 cards that we've actually already talked about. Starting with the Fool at 0, the Magician is 1, the High Priestess is 2, the Empress, which you don't see, there she is. The Empress is the 3 card, the Emperor is the 4 card, and the Hierophant is the 5 card, okay? And so the Fool on the surface just represents new beginnings, the start of your adventure, your new journey, taking a leap of faith, stepping out on faith, being spontaneous. It definitely represents innocence and energy of carefree. Now, these are just the traditional meanings. On the other hand, if it depending on the question, depending on the other cards that are around it, it could represent naivete, it could represent carelessness, foolishness. It really just depends on the rest of the spread. However, I invite you to, if you are interested in tarot, just pick one card a day and sort of try to connect with it and see what else comes up when you do see this card. Okay, so the Fool, new beginnings, stepping out on faith, adventure, innocence, spontaneity, being carefree. Okay, now we have the Magician showing up, and he represents he, she. These cards are not gender specific, although they may seem like male or female, even with the kings and the queens and the pages. It is about the energy, and that is nondescript. So it is not female or male. Okay, so the Magician, it represents creativity, power, potential, as above, so below, manifestation, utilizing all of your gifts to bring your spiritual or your idea, your manifestation into the physical world. Okay. The next one that we have is the 2 card, which is the High Priestess. And she represents intuition, mystery, inner knowledge, hidden knowledge, um, those nudges basically that you're listening to, your intuition, basically those things that are you're being asked to tune into that are not seen. That's why she represents the hidden knowledge. These are not things that you can see. These are things you have to feel into to get the most out of. Okay. And to be honest, if you can do that and trust those nudges, you're going to go directly to your purpose, because your inner being is your intuition and your inner being is not going to lead you astray. So if you can trust and have faith in the nudges and the things that you're receiving, you'd be surprised at how fast you'll get to those things that you're creating, to be honest. Which brings us to the Empress. She's all about creation, untapped potential, abundance, fertility, nature, could very well represent physical pregnancy as well. It's just about, and again, it could also be giving birth to an idea. Really just depends on the rest of the cards in the spread, and especially the question being asked from the querent. Okay. She is all about nurturing. She is ruled by Venus, as you can see, and she is all about love and beauty and abundance. Okay. Now, on the flip side, as beautiful as she is, depending on the spread, she could represent overabundance or overindulging, to be perfectly honest with you. Okay. So it really just depends, again, on the question, on the type of spread that you're doing, and where she lands in response to that, because there's other cards around her that can give her a lot more meaning, and she gives the cards around her more meaning also. So sometimes if she might fall up in if she might land in the center of the spread, that could mean, you are giving birth to a new idea, and so the center of the spread can typically represent your overall, your focus, your main focus of the spread. Okay. And so that could mean that whatever else is around her, you're giving birth to new ideas. It just, again, really depends. Something of a financial nature, you might be starting a new relationship if there's some cups energy around. So, and again, we're definitely going to get into the spreads. Last week Zoom froze up. I hope it doesn't do that this time, but that's why it cut off. I'm usually very good at framing things with an intro and an outro, but it did cut off and I couldn't get it to start again. So I just went ahead and posted whatever I had. And yeah, so the next card is going to be the Emperor. And he's all about authority, structure, control, and leadership. He is the King of Kings. Okay. He is sitting on a throne. He's Aries energy. He represents strength and power, really power, authority, father figure, that sort of thing. So, and it's kind of interesting that you have the Emperor and the Empress energy, because this is the divine counterparts, and it's kind of interesting how opposites do really attract, because the Empress would be the one who's chilling in the field, and the Emperor would be the one who is at the office all day and loving every minute of it. So that brings us to the other card, that the final card that we discussed last week, which is the Hierophant. The Hierophant is all about tradition. It's all about your values. It's all about having faith. And for me, especially because there are followers or listeners, it feels like being heard. You're speaking your truth, or especially with the crown, because crowns typically represent enlightenment or your crown chakra, or receiving downloads. So it feels like in this card, especially, that he's looking, or that people are listening to his wisdom and tapping into that wisdom. And again, It all depends on how it falls and the nature of the questions that are being asked. Okay. But those are basically the cards that we went over. So we're just going to keep on going with the major arcana. We stopped at the Hierophant. So the next one is actually going to be the Lover's card. Now, this card is definitely, obviously, on the surface, it represents relationships, it represents unions, harmony, could even be twin flame energy. It is a six card and it is a choice card. Sixes typically represent harmony. And so, again, to me, when I see this card, especially looking at the imagery on the card, you can see that Eve, or the woman in the card, is not taking her eyes off of her higher self, or off of the angel, or off of the wisdom or the knowledge that she's receiving. And you'll notice that Adam, or the male role in this, is staring at Eve. And she has the serpent right here who represents temptation, and he has fire, which represents the passions and the desires of the flesh. So, in my opinion, and what I really get out of this card, again, depending on what else is around, is not like your decision, because it is a choice card, your decision not to take your eyes or your focus off of your higher self or your higher purpose, even in the face of temptation, even in the face of, because there's a mountain right there. Mountains typically represent some type of challenge, and it's in between those two. So it feels like keeping your eyes on the prize, no matter what else is trying to distract you. And that is why the Lovers is one of my favorite cards, because it can also represent how you intend to move forward in that respect. That's the reason why it is a decision card. Are you going to give in to these quick urges that are just going to satisfy you, or are you going to go deeper and keep your eyes on the prize? And even in the face of challenges, temptation, and desires, you decide, I am going to stay focused on my higher purpose. I'm going to move towards my purpose. I love that so much. Ooh, I just got chills. Okay, so the next card, which is a Cancer card, it's the Chariot, and it's the 7 card. I love sevens because sevens in the Bible represent wholeness. And typically in the tarot, when you're moving on, when you're in the 7 energy, you're fresh off of some type of relief from the 6. Okay, because and I'll go over the numbers here in just a second, but 5s represent change, can sometimes be a challenging change. That's why you have something like the 5 of Pentacles, or the 5 of Swords, or or the 5 of Cups. All of that represents lack or loss or scarcity in some way. And so when you get a 6, that means you are moving on to something a lot more harmonious. Okay. And so fresh off that victory or that relief from the 6, your faith is a lot more solidified. So you're feeling more whole, and that 7 energy to stand firm in your vision, stand firm in your passion, nurture your vision, and to choose you, because the 7 of Cups can also represent that energy of needing to make a choice that is the most emotionally fulfilling. Okay. And so the Chariot is beautiful because you can see the 2 sphinxes here, one dark and one light. And this would represent you balancing and being in control of where they go. Okay. This is this is representing you being whole and determined to balance both these aspects of you and move towards success. This is about willpower. This is about controlling both aspects of you in a way that you're moving that chariot where it goes. The dark side is not having you all over the place. The light side is not having you all over here not doing anything. No, you have that shit balanced so that you are in control. And it's so perfect because the podcast that I just did with Veronica Paris, you guys should check it out. I'll make sure that I link that in the description as well. The podcast that I just did with her, we talked all about control, keeping these aspects under control, because you want to be the one in the driver's seat. You want to be the one who is telling these guys what to do, because if you give the darkness too much, they're not going to like it. And if you give the light too much, there's not going to be any contrast to help you grow. And I know that sounds crazy, but we do need both aspects. It's all about balancing that. And the next card is the 8 card, which is a Leo card, which is strength. This is where that comes in on that journey. You are now finding some type of balance in between those aspects of yourself. And you are finding the infinite strength, because you see the infinite sign there. And typically, gold in the tarot represents success. So not only are you, the chariot represents success, but not only are you now moving towards the goal successfully, but you're tapping into those reserves that you have to be able to get to the next phase. Okay. And so we do have, like I said, that was the chariot card, but now we have the strength card, which again, inner strength, courage, compassion, infinite strength, success, will as well. I feel like these 2 cards definitely go hand in hand, because as you move and start to feel that wholeness, you're now moving into that 8 energy, and 8s typically represent the self. They definitely represent the infinite self. And so that is why this past year, 2024, was the year of the 8. This is why things were happening in such a way where things were falling away. Things were chipping away so that you can become and start to move into this 9 year, which is about fulfillment. 9s can represent definitely fulfillment. They can represent a cycle getting ready to end, and they can represent some form of reflection as we come into the Hermit. And that's a perfect segue. See, this is what I'm saying. Your intuition just kind of takes over. So you're getting this strength now as this journey goes on. Okay, you're getting the strength. You've with the 6 card, the Lovers, you've decided, I'm going to go ahead, keep my eyes on the prize. That being said, you find some type of wholeness to where you're able to balance those aspects of yourself and move forward. Your determination is doing that. And in that, you're able to find the strength, the infinite strength to keep going. So much so that you might see, now we go into the Hermit. The Hermit energy is seeking that wisdom. He's carrying that wisdom, but he also knows when it's time to take that step back, right? So that he can receive, not only just receive the infinite wisdom, but so that he can let the light guide him. And remember, 9s are about cycles closing, okay? So maybe this journey so far, you've had to pull from some physical reserves of strength and courage. And now by the time you get to the Lovers and the Chariot and the strength card, you're finding inner strength. And that's when you decide, I want to be guided by this wisdom. And that's when you decide to do the Hermit thing and take a step back, go to the mountain and receive. Now, the beautiful thing about the Hermit, and let me give you the keywords: introspection, solitude, and inner guidance, okay? Because you're following that light. Now that you're seeing that you don't have to bang it into place, you're tapping into the infinite wisdom, and you're like, whoa, let me go sit down so that I can figure out how to let this guide me instead, okay? You do find some place, and this is so fun telling the story. I love it so much, because we go right into the Wheel of Fortune, the 10 energy. The Wheel of Fortune is all about changes. Has everything to do with those cycles ending, because look, now you're being guided to something. So whatever you may have been forcing or fighting or trying to drag into place is now you surrendering and receiving the plan. Okay. And so you're receiving the plan. You're taking that inspired action and seeing fortune moving in your favor. That's what the 10 of the wheel of fortune, which is the 10 card, and tens represent cycles ending, the ending of a cycle. Anytime you see a 10 though, it's delight in that, because even if it's a 10 of swords, which is a very painful energy, delight in the fact that there's a horizon in that card. And again, I can't wait to get into the minor arcana, because you guys will really be able to see, because this is about your spiritual journey. So this is a life, the fool's journey is kind of a lifetime of cycles. The minor arcana is going to help you understand those nagging little things you have to deal with every day and how you can navigate the a-hole in traffic, or how you can navigate haters online, that sort of thing. Okay. So we have the Wheel of Fortune coming in again, letting us know that fortune is changing. Our fortune is changing. There's fate coming in to make this change. And this is not the same energy as a tower. Okay. And we'll get into the tower. That's the 16 card. This is not the same energy as a tower. This is, you've received the guidance, and now you see the progress, because you're taking the action that you received as the Hermit. Okay. And now you're starting to see evidence, because the universe has stepped in energetically and said, oh, okay, this is a match. Now you're starting to see your ships coming in. It feels very Three of Wands as I'm talking about it. And so, yeah, and it's Jupiter energy. It's ruled by Jupiter, which is all about expansion. So all good on all fronts, especially if you are taking the wisdom, the guidance that you're being given right here in the Hermit card. You will see the fortune turning in your favor, and fast, to be perfectly honest. Okay. So the Wheel of Fortune, the keywords for that: change, cycles, fate, and luck. Okay. So that brings us into, because remember, we're following infinite guidance now. And now the universe has stepped in, or it feels like, because the universe never stopped. You just now are tuned into it. So the universe has stepped in, or you're now able to see how the universe is coming in and changing your fortune and bringing you to balance, justice. Balance is being restored in your world. It's the 11 card. It breaks down to a 2. Twos are all about balance. They're all about communication. They're all about duality. They're all about choices as well. Okay. But when you come into the Justice card, it's a beautiful thing. He's holding a scale that lets you know that there's some form of fairness, or things are about to be restored in terms of balance. It's all about truth, as he holds that sword of truth. And it's all about cause and effect. Okay. So the universe steps in after you decide you're going to follow that infinite wisdom with the Hermit. The universe steps in. You see that shift and twist of fate. And now you have balance being restored. Now, the thing about this guy is that it's a Libra card, so you're finding harmony in whatever your situation is, but you have to choose the truth. That's the one thing, okay? Because he is holding that sword of truth, and the only way that you'll be able to see that balance that's being restored is to choose the truth. Okay, and I got to move these over a little because I'm running out of space. Okay, so now we have balance being restored. We're leaning into our truth, and now we have the Hanged Man coming in. Okay, we're receiving that balance being restored. We're also seeing the correlation between leaning into our truth and following the infinite wisdom with the Hermit card. We're seeing the universe jump in and save us. Basically, like that is what it truly feels like. Um, and as we see that balance being restored, we're willing to surrender, because the hanged man definitely represents surrender, perspective, and letting it go. Not only are you receiving what to let go with the hermit and following the infinite wisdom, but as balance is being restored, it becomes very clear to you what needs to be let go. And as you can see in this card, he's hanging from his foot, but he doesn't seem distressed. He's receiving the enlightenment, which would be the gold light around his head. So this is the reason why that as you see balance being restored in your physical world, in your world, on your spiritual journey, you realize that surrendering brings the enlightenment. And as Eckhart Tolle says, he says, enlightenment means the end of suffering. And it only means that because you're now receiving, you see things from a perspective, a broader perspective. And so that ends that suffering. You're clinging to the truth. Because the one thing I've also found in this journey is that the the truth doesn't change. How it's packaged and presented to us, even in the Bible. Even in the Bible, it says that the same things that everybody is saying, but how it's packaged to us matters. And I believe deep in my heart, it's because we are supposed to find our path there. This is why you find tarot in the media being ridiculously represented, or even spirituality being all like woo. It is the basis of life. And I think because we are living our own perspectives, we are meant to find that, which is why it's not told to us how to find it. We have to find it. That's why there's so many different perspectives putting out their truth. Find the one thing that doesn't change in all of that. That's the truth. Okay. And how you get there is irrelevant. Tarot helped me. The Bible might help you. Jesus might, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's all God. Okay. So now you're receiving this enlightenment in such a way that now you are transforming with the Scorpio card. We have the death card showing up. It's the 13 card. Makes sense with death, obviously, but 13 breaks down to 4. Force represents stability. So now things are coming in as you receive that enlightenment to they're leaving. This is why it's the death card. It's the death card. But the thing about the death card is that it does represent endings. But if you look closely, the Hierophant's in this card and the sun, it's saying, leave these things behind now. You're somebody else now. You're receiving in a different way now. And so now embrace this transformation. Let those people or things or old aspects of yourself, let them go. Embrace what matters to you and faith and truth. And this is why he can be in a field of bodies, even as the Grim Reaper, and the Hierophant standing in front of him, glowing with his hands out, beckoning him. It's like, don't be afraid. Even with these guys here, these are the people around that are reacting probably to the death that's around them instead of seeing the horizon. Okay. Scorpio energy is all about transformation. And that's exactly what this death card comes in. And as you receive the enlightenment, because you decided to with the Hermit, you realize that's what's bringing you there. That's what's going to restore balance. And that's what's going to change the wheel in your favor. You kind of start to want to embrace this. It's not all going to be shits and grins, okay? Because we like our stuff, even if it hurts, because even if we wish we didn't feel that way, it's something that's inside of us, okay? So just know that While the death card means the end of something, it's only because it must go or transform to become something new. So if you can embrace that as the truth, then I think it'll help you be a little more comfortable with the things that are leaving. You've got to make space for the new you, whatever that is. And it might sting a little because you're going to have to spend a little bit of alone time. You're doing some time figuring out who you are now. That way you can build on a solid foundation. And then that moves us into the Temperance card. This is now you moving into this transformation, learning how to balance physical and spiritual. Learning again, where's that with that Chariot card? Learning how to balance those so that it's not we're here to live a very physical experience. We're here to see evidence of the energy. So learning how to balance that, and then we also have the crown in the background as well as this, so this learning how to balance that, but you do it through receiving that inspiration. Do you see how he's receiving that inspiration? And he's got one foot on the earth and one in the water. Water typically represents emotions or like the spirit world, and so you now have a way to balance both of those. Something gets a little out of whack because oh, let me give you the temperance, balance, patience, harmony, and moderation. Okay. And so something gets a little out of whack with it because we do have the devil energy showing up, and that comes next after temperance. Okay. Maybe on this journey, you find it a little bit hard to learn how to balance both of them. Sometimes the physical world is going to win because you see it, and it really just depends on how big it is, how long it'll take you to be able to distract yourself or slow the energy down. One of the things that instead of setting resolutions and all that, I did say, you know what, just for this month, I'm going to stop doing this, this, and this. And honestly, it's not that hard. I mean, we're 6, 7 days into the into the month or whatever, but it hasn't really been that hard because I'm not saying it's something I'm never going to do again. I just want to slow the momentum down so that instead of feeling like these things have control over me, I can regain the control. And really, it'll only take about 30 days on the outside to be able to slow that momentum down in a way where I can regain control. Because before you know it, sometimes you can be in this devil energy. It can represent fear. It definitely represents feeling bound to something, addiction, definitely the shadow self. That's also, and why it would follow learning how to balance spirituality and practicality with temperance, because your shadow self will start to show itself the higher you begin to vibrate, and that is only to show you where you're at so that you can look at it, love it into healing, and move on. Because you don't want this shit to coming up over and over and over again. You just don't want that. So the devil card is a Capricorn card. And so it is ruled by Saturn, which is all about restriction, limitations, structure. So again, sometimes you might see this devil card show up in a spread, and there's other things around it that confirm that, yeah, it is the devil. So don't freak out. It might just be telling you there's a need for you to come up with some type of structure in this situation, or a new way or a plan, so that you don't feel fear, because it does represent fear or feeling bound. And where's that the Lovers card, if you see, it's actually almost identical to the Lovers card. This would be my choose faith or fear, like, which is another thing we're talking about on the podcast. You guys really got to check it out. It's actually fantastic. But faith or fear. This and they're exact. If you look at the cards, they're identical. You have the devil where the angel is. You have the two on the sides. You have the fire. You have the, the bondage. You have the all of that. You get to choose. You get to choose. Okay. So never be afraid when that devil card shows up, and never be afraid when any of these cards show up, because they're not telling you that you're about to get into a plane crash. Okay. That's not what they're telling you. The death card means there's some type of transformation going on. So some type of ending is coming in. On some occasion, it can represent a dearly departed one, but it is not about to tell you that you're about to die. Unless you believe that. Don't believe that. That's you get to control what you believe. You give these things intentions. You activate the energy. This is a very personal experience tied to your intuition. That is why, hell, you might love skeletons and be like, "Oh, that means I'm about to meet my boo." You never know. Look, people are different. Maybe you're into a guy who's a goth guy who's into that, and you happen to see that, and that somehow lights you up in some way where you're like, "Oh, I'm about to meet my boo." It's all about you and awakening your intuition and why these cards are showing up in response to your question. Well, let me check on Zoom. What's up, guys? I'm back. Zoom is really lit with this shit. So I might have to move these to Facebook Live or YouTube Live. Maybe I could do both, actually. Yeah, I might actually move these because me and Zoom seem to be squaring up, and I will not fight for even a moment. Period. Okay. So, anyways, what I was saying about, just take these things as they resonate with you and your intuition and what matters most to you. Let me get my notes back up here. Because we were moving into yeah, in fact, that's 100. It's going to probably be on Facebook and YouTube Live instead starting next Monday. And I'll make the updates across the board because it's just better that way. Okay. So the devil was the last card that we went over. And so remember, you're feeling bound to something. You're feeling, as the devil, you're feeling fear. You're feeling like maybe addicted to something. Again, take it as it resonates. But that's the next step on this journey. And that's why we would move into the tower, which is the 16 card. Okay. So remember, the devil is the 15 card. We break down 15 and it's 6. It's the need to find harmony or the need to find some type of a balance there. Okay. Because you're starting to feel addicted, overwhelmed, bound to something that you can't let go of, something, someone, a substance, whatever, food, alcohol, whatever it is. Okay. And so the tower comes in, and this is an unexpected, sudden change, upheaval, revelation, breakthrough, but it's unexpected. Okay. And so a lot of the times what will happen is you're so seeped in this bondage or this thing that you feel bound to that you can't see your way out of it. So the universe continues to turn up the heat until you have a tower moment, is what I like to call them. And again, I'm not afraid of the tower because I want you to show me. If it's something that I can't see clearly, I need you to show me because I'm willing to change. It's worth it to change. So let me see it if I don't see it, is my ask, seriously. And so when I see the tower, it can also very well just be some type of perspective shift or a breakthrough that you have, because you'll see that the lightning is hitting the crown, which represents the crown chakra. Things have gotten to a point where something must change. And so if you're not seeing it, circumstances will arise to help you see it clearly, because you're feeling bound in a way where you can't see your way out of it. So this is that sudden, unexpected perspective shift. And it is going to cause some type of upheaval, because even if it's just a breakthrough or a new way of seeing something, you are going to, sorry, I just lost my train of thought. It's going to change how you move. And so your world is going to change as a result of that. Okay. The Hanged Man would be a decided um, perspective shift. Let me take a step back so I can receive the right next steps or the right solution or the right whatever. And this is, I don't see any solutions. So the universe is like, all right, we got you. It might look like something that you wouldn't hope would come from the universe. It might look like something that you would hope would not come from the universe, but embrace it. You're going to want to, because it's just going to continue to get hotter and hotter and hotter, to where, you're going to be sort of more spiraling down instead of just embracing the shift. This is that dramatic shift. And if the tower comes in, that means there needs to be a shift. And maybe you're not aware of it, or you are so seeped in the bondage or being bound to whatever that you can't see it. Okay, so let the universe come in, because the next card is the 17 card. Remember, 16 breaks down to 7. We talked about sevens representing wholeness. This is a way for you to get back to feeling whole, because you're needing to find harmony or balance in this thing that has your attention, that you're addicted to, you can't seem to find your way out of. We have the 17 card, which is the star. It's my favorite card, because it represents not just fulfillment, but hope. It represents guidance. That big star there is guiding you. It's like almost like the Hermit is carrying that star in his lantern, or the Hanged Man is receiving that star in his crown. Okay, and so it's definitely about spirituality. You go through some type of a dramatic shift where you are starting to heal, because that is the other thing about the Devil card. You are in a state of decay when you're bound to something or feel like you can't find your way out of something. You want that tower to come in and say, hey, you got to shake this energy up so that you can start to heal. And that's exactly what the star represents. Okay. I always see this as your angel's guidance, and then this is spirit guidance. But again, this could mean several things depending on what's around and what position that it's in. Now, as you are on that healing journey with the star, and we got hope, inspiration, serenity, and healing, and it's an Aquarius card. Okay, Aquarius is all about collective consciousness. They are all about independence and freedom. And so it's almost a card liberating you from these things that you were bound to with the devil. They had to come in so that you could start liberating yourself from that bondage. Okay, so then we're at card 17. So now we're moving into the Moon card, okay, which definitely represents illusion, subconscious fear, intuition, your subconscious, but it is also it reveals a light on things. It also represents the shadow self. So it comes in to tear down or shine a light on things that are built on shaky foundations. So also, don't be afraid of the Moon card, because you don't want to live in illusion. You want to see the light so that you can move with truth. So that balance that's being restored is on a solid foundation. These towers. that needed to be or need to be revealed, torn down, so that you can start building on a more solid foundation. Because shortly after you see, and sometimes you got to level that bitch. Honestly, this last time and this last part of my awakening, to some degree, I feel like I really had to just level that MFR and just start building one block and one brick at a time. And I'm still doing that. But now I'm doing it in a way where I can feel the support. I'm allowing the guidance to take me there. And so I don't feel alone. I don't feel like it's hard. And I have faith that I'm on the right track. And I'm seeing evidence of that in my physical world. Okay. So as soon as you are able to tear down those towers or those shaky foundations, level it if you have to, because you move right into, which it's the it's 18 energy breaks down to a 9, closing out a cycle of shaky foundations, because you move right into the 20 card, which is the sun. Excuse me, the 19 card. Wait, yeah, 19 card, which is the sun. The sun is the most positive card in the deck. Okay, the sun represents joy, success, vitality, positivity. So remember, you have found some type of healing with the star. Now those fears are coming to light, and yeah, it's going to take a little rocking back and forth sometimes, and it's going to damn sure take acceptance and the willingness to listen and hear and allow things to fall away if they need to. For sure, for sure, for sure. Okay. So we have the star, the moon, and the sun. You heal, reveal, and now it's almost like you're feeling like you're feeling that vitality again. You're starting to feel alive again, even though you've had to level some things. That's okay, because you can see clearly now, and you're like, okay, I can see how I want to build this. You're doing it with some level of joy and success with the sun coming in. Okay. It's a 19 card again, breaking down to a 10. That brings in that ending, but the sun is that new beginning that was showing up in the death card. But because you allowed this transformation, you are now able to live the sun. The sun is not in the horizon, it's in the foreground, it's in your life. That joy and that success and that positivity is there. And that's all because you allowed the light to be shined on the things that are no longer you, the things that are holding you back, the things or the illusions that you've allowed to govern certain areas of your life, especially how you move. Okay. So the sun does come back in, and as you tap into that innocence, that joy, and you're starting to feel that vitality, you are you're hearing the call. You're ready to answer the call. You're feeling resurrected, especially because judgment definitely represents being kind of raised from the dead, or hearing the call, or listening to your higher self, or yeah, just especially with that red plus on there. It's like you're healed in such a way from the vitality and the innocence and that has returned, that you're now moving into your higher self, because judgment is all about that discernment and hearing the call, answering the call, coming up from the death that you had to go through. You had to go through it. It's the death that you had to go through. Okay, you the death that you had to go through, even that kind of thing where things got a little out of control, to where spirit had to come in and shake things up so that you could see how necessary it was to let that go. Okay, but you do heal, it reveals, You move back into vitality, positivity with the sun. You're now answering the call, and now you're moving into the world, which is the last card in the major arcana. It's the 22. It's the Judgment is the 20 card, and it's the 21 card. So Judgment, which also, and I should have said this as well, it's the 20 card. It breaks down to a 2, which is about duality and about you and you, your higher self and your physical self, blending in a way where you're co-creating and living that what you're creating. I mean, you're doing it anyway. You may as well create what you want. You may as well create what you want because you are doing it anyway, whether you believe it or not. Okay. And so that's perfect that it's the 20 card because twos represent that balance and that blending of both. Okay. And you do it in such a way where you are at the end of that cycle, you're able to bask in your accomplishments with the world card. You're feeling fulfilled. There's some type of unity going on. You have obtained some level of success because you've completed that cycle in some way. And you're able to reflect before you get right back on the next journey. The beautiful thing is you go into this new journey with new information. So you move differently, and granted, the journey is going to still be new because it's new. It's something you haven't done before, even if you're a pro at whatever. You now have a certain level of not just confidence, but wisdom that helps you bring this into this new journey, and you start right back on that path again. It all begins with stepping out on faith. It all, begins with you learning how to balance those aspects of you and having control, you being in control of those aspects of you tapping into and receiving the inner guidance and the wisdom, you letting balance be restored by allowing yourself to be moved. Let yourself be moved to a decision or to an action or to a choice. And that's not to say you don't need to do anything, but if you're not feeling inspired, the work would be to sit and get inspired. The work would be quiet your mind, tap in, go play music, go to the beach, whatever's going to get you to tune in so that you can receive the inspired action. Okay, because it is always streaming to you, but it's so beautiful, that fool's journey, because it is never ending. Cycles in all areas of our lives, in all areas, I mean, from the life to the death cycle, to your career cycle, your marriage cycle, your senior cycle when you get older. I mean, just there's always a start and a finish. There's always an ask to step out on faith. There's going to be always balance being restored. You must choose this. You must choose to hear. You must choose to listen to those nudges that you receive. Okay. So the major arcana, like I said, that's all about the journey of life overall. Okay. And so we're not going to probably get into because it's about 8 right now, and I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up so that I can frame next week's show about the minor arcana. And I would love to get into at least one spread. You know what? Maybe I could do that now. Well, be a little tough with only having gone through these cards. Let's see. But what I could do is go ahead and just pull a couple of cards and see, and give you guys just like a little parting message for anybody who finds this video. And if you're interested in learning tarot, please do join me. I am going to move the show from Zoom to Facebook and YouTube. So unfortunately, it's just going to be probably a chat interaction, but I feel like the tech issues will be non-existent until I can figure my shit out on Zoom. Okay. So let's see, what cards do you want me to pull for them? Do you want me to pull some tarot cards? Okay, let's go with one angel number so that you, and then I'll even read the little blurb so that you know. And what's so cool is I picked up the deck and it's 4444 Triumph. Fours are all about stability, success. Excuse me, stability. I got success on the brain. Stability, security, triumph, even. Okay, so when you see fours, just delight in the fact that you are here to win, you are winning, and you're in the manifestation. To be honest, every little part of it is the manifestation. So if you can embrace that and trust that, then you good. Then we good. Okay, let me get you a angel number, and then maybe I'll see if I can clarify or something. What do you want them to know and see? Wrap up this session. Perseverance actually did show up, but I really want a definite. Oh, I love that. They're like, no, just take it. Okay, so we saw perseverance, and that was 202. But most importantly, especially with the things that we were just talking about, and finding balance and harmony. When you see twos of any kind, 22, just know that that's an ask to tap into the harmonics of the universe. Feel the harmony, feel the love, see the beauty of, or at least see if you can find a way to salute the God or spirit in that other person, even if they're yelling at you. I mean, get yourself out of the situation because, I mean, come on, you're not supposed to be a punching bag, but don't let somebody else's, how they're responding or reacting to you, define anything that has to do with you. Okay. So let's see what 22 is. And God, I guess they want me to read Perseverance because I opened it right up to Perseverance. They're like, those are twos. 202 is like 22. Okay, so I'm gonna read Perseverance. I hear you guys. I'm sorry, my bad. Keep going. When you see twos of any kind, know that every problem I encounter has a solution. Know that you are plumbing the depths of your soul. They want you to trust that you can achieve even your biggest dreams. They want you to find that unparalleled sense of determination. Oh, I put them away. I was going to say right here, I can pull this one. The Chariot is all about finding that unparalleled sense of determination. And they would like, and it's an ask for you to stay optimistic in the face of hardship. Okay. So stay the course when you see twos. Your inner self, your very soul is strong enough to weather any adversity that may arise. This is a call to have faith in yourself and your abilities. You're not destined for mundanity. I hope I said that right. Stepping into your power might require you to do the scary thing rather than the easy thing. That's okay. Life is all about learning, about testing new waters. Get out of your comfort zone and enter the cosmic zone. So when you see twos of any kind, it's going to be the universe asking you to keep going. But with that showing up with the 22, see to it that you are doing it in a harmonious way and you're not doing it in a desperate, or because remember, desperation repels. Desperation is making the road a lot harder than it has to be. So seek harmony and seek balance, and that will give you the strength to keep going. Thank you. I got there eventually. So, and again, remember what I said about twos representing duality. It says duality is a part of the human experience. The challenge lies in finding a harmony among all our beautiful facets. Remember, we're talking about embracing all those aspects of yourself. This is a call to address any imbalances that may be throwing your energy out of whack. Are you open to the connections around you? And then, so when you see twos, again, remember, we have that perseverance and keep going energy, but they want you to remember and say to yourself, I am grateful for the love that surrounds me. tune into the harmonics. Remember what I said? Tune into the harmonics of the universe, and 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 the beauty and the love that is around, and you will find that there's way more of that around. Okay. And when you see twos, they want you to know that you're surrounded by loving energies and newfound wisdom, because you're now that duality. You're now moving from a place of a broader perspective, adapting to strike a balance in your life, understanding and reciprocity in relationships. Yes, 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 yes. Give, and don't ever let anybody stop you from giving, but make sure that you're getting back in return, because that gets old. And that is not balance. Okay. So you want reciprocity in relationships. You want reciprocity in really any type of energetic exchange. Okay. It is about balance, and that's a way to keep the balance. And they also want you to look at possibly seeking connections and collaboration. Okay. Twos do represent partnerships, and they represent harmonious partnerships, or that duality could be between you and another person, because you're still blending those aspects. So yeah, just open yourself up, because the path comes to you. All you've got to do is set the intention and tune into the love around you, and it writes itself. Okay. So thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for watching. I do hope that you guys are inspired to actually join on the Mondays, although I'm still kind of having a good time doing it, because I love tarot and I love talking about it. And I love anybody that finds the video and gets anything out of it after the fact. But I would love to start a discussion, or, let's talk about tarot. Let's unpack some of the beliefs that we have around spirituality and tarot, and stop. Let's try to talk about not dividing that God versus this God. It's all God. Okay? Whatever you call it, it's all God. Everything. Look for the unchanging truth in every message that you find about it, and you will see there's only one truth. Okay. Thank you so much for watching. I am Mika, the Traveling Tarot. I hope to see you guys next Monday. It will be on YouTube on my I Came to Win channel, as well as live on my I Came to Win page on Facebook. Thanks again. Take care of each other. I love you guys. Peace.